Hello everyone, my name is Christian, welcome to my hobby blog. Today we are doing the next, review of the Vinegar Syndrome March series. I've already done Reformed Schoolgirls, which, if you haven't seen it already, I did not like. I knew I wouldn't, so it's not really a surprise, but the next review we are doing today is the double feature Schizoid and Xray. First, I will be talking about Schizoid. This one, I really thought I would like more. It is still a 3-star for me. I really liked the thriller elements of it. So, if you don't know, Klaus Kinski, who is most well known for being in a lot of Herzog films, such as Aguilera, Wrath of God, that's where I know him from. It's an early movie of his. He's also been in Nosferatu the Vampire, I believe. Vampire in Venice. Nosferatu in Venice, I think it's called. He's in a bunch of stuff. He has that very weird, very Germanic-looking face. So he's always in these type of horror thriller films. But Christopher Lloyd is in here. He's from Back to the Future. He plays like a mechanic or somebody. But basically, this is Halloween 2, because we have a woman who, I'm getting it mixed up with Xray, I'm sorry. So, this movie, Schizoid, is all about a weird guy who is sending in letters to a woman, and who is working as an advice columnist, and she basically is receiving all these different letters from a weirdo, and she's going through a divorce, and she's part of a therapy group, and the person who leads the therapy group is Klaus Kinski. In the entire movie, I thought he was the killer, because it's Klaus Kinski, and I was wrong. I was shockingly wrong, but slowly, one by one, women in the therapy group are getting killed off. And our main character is just kind of like, what is going on? I don't know why this is happening. And so they start to investigate it. She and Klaus Kinski meets with Christopher Lloyd a few times. They're trying to find the killer or whatever, and we get our first kill with one of the therapy members leaving on a bike. She is run off the road, and she is stabbed multiple times in the heart with scissors, which, you know, pretty cool, pretty brutal, but I think the beginning was my favorite part. Just everything leading up to, I guess, the central mystery. I didn't really like... Well, I liked the movie. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. I just finished watching Xray. I watched both of these back to back. And I have a lot more to say on Xray than I do this movie. But, her ex-husband is played by somebody who looks almost exactly how young Jeff Bridges look, but it's not Jeff Bridges who is playing that. And Klaus Kinski has a daughter in this movie who is a little weird. She's definitely a suspect in terms of who is the killer of all these troubled people seeking therapy, but who the killer ends up being is pretty weak, in my opinion. This isn't the best thriller slasher movie, and it's kind of shocking that Schizoid was the main attraction of this release, because moving on to the next movie, I just really have no thoughts on Schizoid. I really liked it, but it's not one I don't think I will ever rewatch. On the other hand, Xray, I really like this one. borderline loved it. I think the only thing I didn't like was the first 30 minutes. Just basically just, you know, our main character played by Bobby Benton, who she's also in Deathstalker, and that's the only thing I've seen her in. She's not in much else. I looked her up, and she's in, like, a Hugh Hefner documentary. So I think she was a Playboy playmate, is how she got, I guess, into that world of modeling and all that. But she was great in this movie. Xray. Xray is basically about her. Bobby Benton, she is a, not really sure what her occupation is. This is a very small scale movie. This is the type of movie where we just hang out in one location the entire time, which usually doesn't work. This movie, what I alluded to earlier, is basically Halloween 2. Came out around the same time. I don't know which one came first, but this movie also reminded me a lot of Splatter University, which is a trauma film, also put out by Vinegar Syndrome. But Xray, we begin with a pretty hilarious intro of two kids playing with each other. Not with each other, but racing trains, I think, is what they call it, where they have a train and they're trying to, like, they're telling it to go faster, go faster. But there's a weird boy who's looking out the window, looking at our main girl, who grows up to be Bobby Benton, and he leaves a letter on the doorstep, bangs on the door, and it's Valentine's Day, and it's a Valentine's letter, and the letter's like, hey, I love you, you know, this, that, and the other, will you be my Valentine? And she and her, I guess, brother, they're both like, ew, we don't like that guy, and he balls it up and throws it away, or whatever. And then that kid, whose name is Harold, he's the guy crushing off of Bobby Benton's childhood character, and he kills the boy, hangs him on, like, antlers or something, and then we smash forward 20 years to current day, 1982 or 81, which is when this movie was made. And we see Bobby Benton. She is trying to convince her husband to divorce her, very much like Drop Dead Fred. But she's just kind of running errands, and at one point she's like, oh, I need to go get a checkup at the doctor's. So, new boyfriend, drop me off at the doctor's or whatever. And the boyfriend is played by none other than Charles Lucia, who plays the father in Society, the guy, the butt face, the literal butt face, that character. And so she goes to the doctor's office, and there's somebody around the doctor's office who keeps turning on first-person vision, and where the camera's just kind of walking along the hallway, and we hear him, you know, breathing and everything. You know, it's your classic, I guess, 80s slasher movie. And he goes around and just starts killing people, just at random. Anybody he can see. And she gets an X-ray, and all the doctors are like, oh, this is weird. There's something weird about your X-ray. We can't tell you what, but we're going to run a few more tests. And they keep doing more and more tests and keeping her there. She's losing her mind because there's nothing wrong with her. She's not supposed to be at this hospital. And so as this goes on, she starts losing her patience a bit more, and especially as she keeps witnessing all these murders. She keeps finding bodies and, like, all this stuff, and nobody is believing her. And so finally they lock her down, and the killer, I guess, kidnaps her and kind of rolls her down the hallway on the hospital bed that has the restraints on it. And we get revealed who the killer is, and it's, I guess it's who I expected. But I love the ending of this movie. We get a wonderful body getting thrown off the very high building while they're in flames, and they smack into the ground, and we see it, and we can tell it's a mannequin. But the thing that sets this movie out a lot higher than Schizoid, in my opinion, are the kills. The kills are a whole lot more brutal in Xray. I mean, you see the guy there with the knife. That's the entire movie, is him with the knife and just blood going everywhere. We see him actually stabbing people. I know the actual prop itself, the knife pushes back in, but I really enjoyed Xray. And considering that Schizoid is the one that's kind of the main highlight of this set, it's kind of surprising for me. I really, really liked Xray. One thing I was kind of shocked about is that in the intro credits for both of these films, it said it was distributed by Canon Films, the same that did a lot of Charles Bronson movies and Chuck Norris films in the 80s. I'm not sure how they are related to both of these movies. Maybe they helped fund it, but I really enjoyed Xray. Schizoid I liked. I didn't hate it. I mean, I gave it a 3 on Letterboxd, which means it's average. I liked it. It was good. The first 30 minutes of Xray is pretty dull. I mean, it's just setting up what the rest of the movie is. And the rest of the movie is great. I really enjoyed it. So that's kind of my review on both of these movies. I know my Schizoid one just wasn't that substantive, but that was because there wasn't much to talk about. It's a very typical slasher movie. It's just okay. Xray, I think, is the standout here. And I was not expecting that. Xray also is called Hospital Massacre. So, I think I would have had that on the box instead of Xray, in my opinion. Hospital Massacre. Sounds a little better than Xray. But Xray still is a really good. They didn't really do anything with the Xray mystery of what is in her body, or what they see in her body. But, that was a little disappointing that we didn't get any resolution to that. But another thing is that everybody seemed like a suspect in this movie, because everybody, all the men in this movie, were leering at Bobby Benton the entire movie. And so every time you're like, oh, that's the killer, because he's like leering at her openly, like smiling like a predator. And then the next guy in the hallway does it, and you're like, oh, maybe he's the killer. And then the next guy does it too. And you're like, oh, all these people are horrible. Like, who's the killer? Like, this is going to be a really hard mystery to solve. But, who it ended up being, I guess I'm satisfied by who the killer is. But, I enjoyed it. So, those are my reviews. Let me know what you thought. I just have Hard Rock Zombies and Slaughterhouse Rock left. I don't know if I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that at some point this week. Or by this week, I mean like the 27th, tomorrow, Sunday, and on that week. This coming week. But, yeah. Thank you all for watching, and please let me know what you think of these movies if you've already seen them. If you haven't, let me know if these sound interesting to you. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Thank you all for watching.